Okay, welcome to my channel. My name is Eric. Today I'm going to do the third part of the series where I'm going to show you how to connect the Nextion display. Well, the Nextion display is connected to a D1 Mini, which is an ESP8266 device. As you can see here, here are some pictures of the actual wiring. It's wired to the Nextion display, has power, 5 volts ground, and an RX and TX line. The RX and TX line are connected to D5 and D6 of the D1 Mini. There you can see the back of it. This is a 2.8 inch Nextion display. What you have as well, that's a bit you actually have a real-time clock here, that it's got its own real-time clock. This is where you update the graphics, so you use the Nextion editor, create the graphics, and then copy it onto SD card, plug it into here, boot it up, and then it'll load the graphic file into its own memory. You only have to do that once. And then after that, that's the display from the front, and that's effectively what the display looks like. This is a 3D printed little front panel. So here you can see the three measurements that come from. If you watch the previous episode, there's a BME 280 that has the temperature, humidity, a barometric pressure, and this is the real-time clock. Okay, so what this is based upon is ESP Home. So if you look at this, it's on this website here, esphome.io. I used the same for the sensor for the BME 280. In this case, I'm going to use the display component, the Nextion. You'll see effectively these are the settings that you have to tell it. These are they're not optional, but these are what have to be configured. The baud rate, the 2 pins, and then you basically use a lambda function to talk to different areas of the display. So you can see here, if you look at the code, let's find the right page. If you look at the code, there effectively I've used Visual Studio Code as an editor. So what happens here is, you can see here that what it's called is Display Nextion. These are the IP address. It has a web server port. This is the MQTT broker that sits on the Raspberry Pi. It gets the time through SNTP. What you have to remember when you set up the Wi-Fi credentials, you have to set up the static IP address, the gateway, the subnet, and this DNS. If you don't set up the DNS, it doesn't get the time. These are the 2 pins, as you can see, D5 and D6. Then you define a number of text sensors, so they are MQTT topics. You can see here is update Nextion temperature, update Nextion humidity, update Nextion pressure. Then what it does is, you can see here it gets the time, and then this gets executed every second. So what it does is it sets the backlight to mid, and then you have the 3 timer values, N0, N1, and N2. And then you have the 3 text values that are temperature, humidity, and pressure. If you look at the Nextion editor, this is what you have. So this is where you do a setup of the device. You tell it how you want. You can say it's set up for a 2.8 inch enhanced display. You tell it whether you want it to stand vertical or horizontal. And then you define this. It's 320 long and 240 pixels wide. What I did was create 3 little pictures, temperature, humidity, that are these pictures here, And then what I did is on top of it, you could see in the previous, in the code, there was this T0, T1 and T2. They're just text values. And then you have N0, N1 and N2 are for the time. These two in the middle are just colons, so they don't do anything. So when in the code, when you send a message to these values here, you'll see it says using this lambda function. The lambda, what it really does is create C++ code that it injects into the back end, and it allows it to actually talk to this it.set Nextion RTC, it.set backlight, it.set component value, and component text. In the Nextion editor, you can see here you have a lot of different text, numbers, floats, buttons, whatever. So I'll maybe do a video. There are videos on the internet of people with this Nextion that do some pretty smart stuff. Okay, what I'm going to do is actually show you a little video of it actually working, and in the next video I will tackle the Raspberry Pi, which I guess is the heart of the whole system. So until I do that, yeah, thanks for watching.